You know, at conferences like this, we hear the stories of courage and resilience that women exhibit in so many places and in so many different forms. It's my pleasure to introduce you to a woman who is exhibiting courage and resilience every day on the front lines of corporate America, the CEO of Sam's Club, Roz Brewer.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much.
And I'm Pat Mitchell, the card-carrying member of Sam's Club, because there is a Sam's Club in one of my the places that I call home, Atlanta, Georgia. You'll have to go to New Jersey, which I think is the closest.
Yes, the caucus,
right?
yes.
But certainly it's one of the largest retail organizations, companies in the world, $600 billion in retail sales. A large job, and you say in the video, and I've heard you say it before, you never would have imagined yourself in this place, and understandable, since there's so few
That's right.
women, and even fewer African-American women in that C-suite.
Yes.
But what did you imagine that you might be?
You know, Pat, when I think back on my life and where this could have gone, you know, I think about the way I was raised. I think about growing up in Detroit, Michigan, and I think about the basics that my family started for me. You know, it was very foundational. I come from a family that is very strong on character building. So it wasn't so much about the exact job that I wanted. You know, I thought about being an optometrist or doing something in the sciences, but it was more about the character that I wanted to have and the legacy I wanted to leave in my life.
And of course, one of the reasons that it was hard to imagine being where you are now is because there are still so many challenges to getting to that place. And we've heard all the many explanations in the robust conversation around this today. Is it a result of our not leaning in enough or not having enough supply and support for working mothers? What is your perspective on that?
Well, when I see young women come into the corporate environment, you know, they have high expectations. And at some point, those expectations are being met. And then there's a point where they hit the wall. And that's happened to all of us, and it's happened to me as well, but I was fortunate. And one of those fortunes that I had was when I was in engineering, working as a scientist, but the engineering function was part of the work that I did too. There was a woman by the name of Rona Wells. She was one of the first executive engineers in my company. And she really took me under her wings, and she taught me about the unwritten rules of being in these kinds of jobs. And that's something that I had a lot of mentors, and a lot of my mentors were men, just like I'm sure a lot of women in this room, but this was one that spent the time telling me how to watch out and what to expect, and to expect, you know, the good and the bad. And I'll never forget that, and we're friends to this day.
Oh, what did she tell you? What were those rules?
You know, here's the thing. She told me about who were the ghosts in the room. I mean, she could tell me about every individual that I would encounter. She'd tell me about personalities. She'd tell me how to respond to those personalities and how to come out on top of those. The other thing that she talked to me a lot about was having a voice. And there was a time in my career where I was quiet. You know, I knew it. You know, I knew the answers to the questions. I understood the topics at the table, but I withheld. I didn't have the confidence. And so when I mentor young women, I constantly tell them about leading with your voice, leading with your gut. You usually know it. What you have to do is have the confidence and project it. You know, I still run into instances where women are sitting at the table and they're quiet, they have the answer, and then sometimes they even give the answer and it sounds different when the man gives the response, right? And so they're still not getting heard. So I would love, you know, for more young women to just get out there and let their voice be heard and have that self-confidence that they really need to have.
You were trained as a chemist. Do you
Yes.
approach your corporate strategies for success with any of that kind of engineering and scientific background?
You know, I do. And I find myself being very analytical. I could be walking a club, and that's one of the things I love to do is walk the clubs and listen to our associates. And our associates teach us a lot when we're on the floor. And then I begin to analyze. And many of them don't know it, but they form a lot of my opinions. They form a lot of the direction of the company, and I listen to that and I use that. Those are my analytics.
But of course, you are forming their opinion of what a leader looks like and what a leader can do. And you mentioned, you know, when Ursula Burns called you and said how wonderful it was that this had happened for you, and what that said to you was that's what you had to do for other women. How do you bring that strategy to your work supporting other women?
Yes, that was an amazing day when I got that call from Ursula, and it really brought me back to center, because it reminded me, first of all, Pat, that you have to give back and you have to recognize the successes of other women. But I spend time, first of all, whenever I'm with our associates, I try to listen as intently as I can. But then on a personal level, I do a lot of work at my alma mater, Spelman College. And it brings me great joy.
I think we might have a few of them here.
Yes, and so that's the best work that I can do. It is nothing greater for me than to go to the commencement exercises and see 400 African American women graduating. I mean, it's such a positive experience, and it's just, I have to make that happen.
Right.
So I've engaged the company. Walmart supports the work that I do on the campus. They support the development of African American women. There are Walmart scholars at Spelman College, and then my family has actually taken on a personal mission to graduate 20 women of Spelman College, and we're working that now.
You see, you're putting the head and the heart into work.
Yes.
And you also have a corporate strategy that seeks to empower other women by setting out to find these women entrepreneurs whose products might be good for Sam's Club. I'm thinking of a woman recently, Rose Hill,
yes,
a farmer from Alabama. I think we can see a picture of Rose. And so tell me about what that kind of story, what does Rose Hill represent to you?
Yeah, so this is a result, Rose is a result of the work that we've been doing in the communities to help women entrepreneurs actually expand their scope. And Rose has come to us through some of the work that we've done at Tuskegee University. And through that initiative, we are helping her understand how to farm organically, how to water conservation in the work that she does. And the greatest thing about it is that the goods and the greenery that she grows, we purchase that from her. Mm-hmm. And so it goes full circle. And what's great about the work that she does, then she turns around and now she is actually mentoring women and teaching them sustainable farming in her community. And so that's how this whole thing works. You know, we wanted to go full circle. And she's a great example of that.
There's another great example. We have another photograph of a Paula White, who I think her company's called something like 600-pound gorilla. I know she doesn't sell gorillas at Sam's Club. You sell just about everything else.
No.
But what is that?
So her business, she came to us as a result of a diversity summit around bringing in new entrepreneurs to our business, and we'll be carrying ice cream sandwiches in our stores and clubs that she produces, but it's a result of the summits, extending ourselves, teaching women how to grow their business, and actually she's part of our supplier base now. Yeah. Yes.
I'd like to take another moment or two on the personal side, Roz, because you are a wife and a mother, and I read you said somewhere that some days you look at your life like a roadmap and you realize you're a deep mom here, you're a deep CEO here, you're a deep wife here. That's a lot of deep diving. What does it leave for you?
Yes. You know, some days it is draining, Pat, and you feel like you've given everything to everyone else and nothing to yourself. But I do realize my real purpose here, and I realize what a privilege it is to be in this role that the company has extended to me, and I don't take that lightly. But I have found that this whole idea of balance, which is really a misnomer because it really doesn't happen, I have to find that, you know, some
I was
things,
thinking you might have found the unwritten rule.
No, that's not one that I've figured out yet, but I do realize that some days it's 90-10, and some days it's 1090. You give what you can when you can. I think about, just sitting here preparing for these discussions. We've got board meeting in a couple of days, and so you engage. You have to. It's like bobbing and weaving every day. You go deep, you come back up, but that's part of the skill of being a CEO and being in jobs like this. And what I think is so wonderful is that women know how to do it better than anyone else, because we've been bobbing and weaving for years. We really have, and so it's a natural. It really is a natural.
And we are often so hard on ourselves, aren't we?
We are.
About where we're diving too deep or not deep enough. You are, though, a very different kind of role model for the women who work for you and the other places where you go as a CEO that select a elite group of people who have a way of influencing the way people think and feel about leadership. How do you think and feel about your leadership as a woman?
Sometimes I don't think of it as being a woman. I really think of it as just full leadership. The one thing that helps me a lot is I try to remain grounded. And most people will tell you that I'm the same person at home as I am at work, as I am in the community. And I think that gives me a place to always consistently lead. And it helps me. It helps me when the hours get long and tiresome. I can fall back to a center. And I think young women, if they get to know their self and get to know what their strengths are, play into those strengths and try and multiply the opportunities in their lives with resources, I think we have something to learn there, Pat, about getting to that inner core. It strengthens you in those times. I really believe that.
And in the corporate world where you are, where there's so much measurement on success, and success is measured a particular way. Mm-hmm. And you talk a lot about that. You want to keep that balance, as you said, between what you know and do with your head and what you feel with your heart. Mm-hmm. Are there ways you've learned to do that you could share with this audience? Or you just learn to live with the times when it doesn't feel connected?
Yeah, well, this one of the reasons why I feel so fortunate is because the company that I'm with now really allows me to do that. We have such a span of reach and an opportunity to bring so many people into the discussions. Even when I think about the work that we've done, we multiply by bringing in some of our partners that are even here today in the audience. But I think the real issue of trying to solve this whole issue about how to be a CEO and stay on top of the numbers and do so many other things is to bring more people into the discussion. And I try to use my resources well. I try to be the first one to acknowledge what I know and don't know. I never walk into a room and fake as if I have all the answers. I find that there are some women that do that, then because it's very hard to get to the real core of some of the data sometimes, but I try and challenge myself to do a great job at that.
And when you walk the aisles and you meet the young and older women who work for you, because I imagine you're younger than a lot of the women who work for you.
Sometimes.
And they see you and they think, well, now that's what success looks like, but that will never be me. I cannot imagine myself there. What inspiration do you try to give to them?
Well, I see women react to me in that way. They look at me and say, is that me? Could that be me? And so I try and tell my story because, I was likely to, I started off from meager means. I am the first, my siblings and I are the first ones to attend college in our family. And so, and growing up in Detroit, Michigan, things could have gone either way for me. And so I was fortunate that it didn't, but I share my story. I talk openly about my family. I am a woman that's comfortable doing that, and I spend time making sure that they know. I create roadmaps for the people that work for me because it's not always easy. They don't see it. That's my job. I need to teach them. I need to clear the barriers. I need to help them see that they can accomplish something similar to what I'm doing. That's my job.
It's wonderful that you see that as part of your job, too.
It's my job.
You have a daughter.
I do.
She has to be extremely, you have a son too. We
Yes.
should give him equal time.
He's luscious as well.
A wonderful athletic son, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
But your daughter sees and imagines and envisions a very different world than the one you grew up in. But what do you want for her? If if just now you could do what every mother wishes we could do and make the way easy, her journey forward, where would you want her to go? How would you want her to go on that journey?
My daughter is 9 years old. What I really hope for her is, she finds a pathway where she feels confident. And she feels like she can trust at least a few around her to help her through. But that confidence piece is something that I see in young girls that I hope my daughter has. I think that lack of confidence leads them astray sometimes. I also see that cliques are much bigger than they were when I was growing up. And I try and teach Cameron to have an independent voice. And it's not easy because there are a lot of influences out there on young women, and it could go either way. But it's that confidence piece, Pat, that makes all the difference, to just feel like she can have it, she can do it, she can do this. We talk about it a lot. We do.
You not only talk about it, you're walking the talk. And she looks up every day and sees what her mother is doing. Roz, it's terrific for me to know with this card I'm supporting someone at the top like you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.